Hey there, everyone. Get excited. Jupiter is coming back into Aries. So Jupiter returns to Aries on December 20 if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And for people like myself in the Southern Hemisphere, Jupiter comes back on the 21st. So Jupiter will be in Aries until May 16, 17 of 2023. So you may recall that, of course, Jupiter's already been in Aries. Jupiter got as far as 8 Aries from May through to October earlier this year. So I'll put a little link there where you can catch that earlier video that I have done on that transit. But I've got a few new ideas and a few things I want to share with you about the idea of kind of getting 2023 started under this kind of exuberant influence. So I'm just going to kind of rapid fire a bunch of ideas to, I guess, really speak to the astrology at the moment. We've got Jupiter coming into Aries, and of course, it is ruled by Mars retrograde as it starts. So this video will probably be kind of busy and a little bit erratic. So anyway, what I really love about the idea of Jupiter moving from a water influence into fire. And this is what I love about any kind of significant influence from water to fire, is the concept or the idea of Astro rehab. I know I've said this before on the Water Trio podcast, but whatever that planet signifies, whatever houses in your horoscope that, or in your birth chart, that are ruled by Jupiter, are going to get a dose of energy, of enthusiasm, clarity, and action. There's a significant difference between the energy of Pisces, which is very watery, very nourishing, but it also can be vague and confused. It can really help. It's good for the soul, but it's not necessarily good for doing. And so now that we're sort of on the cusp of a new year, Jupiter's entrance also aligns with the solstice. We really have this turning of the sun coming in with a bang. And Jupiter also finds itself in the sign that the sun is exalted in, which the sun's exalted in Aries. So this combination with the solstice, Jupiter's return into Aries, then of course we'll have that sun square Jupiter that peaks this week too. I feel that this is really an energy where we can kind of, grab the ram by the horns, I should probably say. And there's an individual influence to this. Jupiter and Pisces, you might remember back in April and May, also conjoined Neptune. So this really linked to collective ideas and perhaps this sort of direction into maybe a group think or a group feeling or a group emotion. Jupiter in Aries does remind me of a song from a band that I really like. And I mean, most of you probably won't or have heard of them, but the song or the band is called Hatebreed. And there is one song where they're talking about standing up for what you believe sometimes means standing alone. And I do feel that Jupiter in Aries might encourage a little bit of risk taking around ideas, action, and belief. It also definitely offers a spark of creativity, especially around something that is meaningful or purposeful for you. And so with the solstice energy coming through, and as I mentioned, that turning point of the sun, it might bring a, I've thought about things with Jupiter and Pisces, or I've felt things, I've worked things out, and now it's time to take that inspired action, that sort of pioneering energy that of Aries that is often talked about. It might be, I'm going to do something on my own, or that is individual to me, that holds that inspiration or that meaning and purpose. Jupiter in Aries to me reminds me of the idea of, do or die. It might be deciding where your conviction is or which hill you might choose to die on, proverbially speaking. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if some of this energy does play out in, the social media atmosphere, of course, which is where many of us spend a fair amount of time. Jupiter's ruler is Mars. And Mars is retrograde in Gemini. So we might see that there is some explosion or a little bit of fire that's added to the social media discourse in, all the various bubbles that we find ourselves in that world. Now, despite that, Jupiter coming into Aries, being ruled by Mars retrograde, Mars is really coming to the end of this cycle now. It's really only 3 weeks to go of the retrograde, and Mars will station direct at 8 degrees, 9 degrees. It's 9. Hang on, no, it's 8 on the 12th of January. So we've only got a few weeks of that left, and so Jupiter might infuse you with a little bit of, gusto or mojo to push through an area of life where the energy may have been quite sluggish, fatiguing, or stagnating. So you might start to see perhaps again the idea of Jupiter's meaning and purpose to where things have felt difficult, overwhelming, distracting with the Mars in Gemini energy. Jupiter in Aries may also encourage you to sharpen your sword, sharpen the sword of your communication, of your words, saying what you mean and meaning what you say, making decisions and also choosing those choices with Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter in Aries is a big warrior energy. It's big muscle energy, big masculine energy. And so it's going all in, going all yang, and it's not half-baked, if you like. So this may also help you block out any noise or distraction that you're interfaced with. So it's important to think about Jupiter in Aries, at least until Mars is in Gemini, until March, because that's going to connect 2 houses of your birth chart via that sextile. And there's also that rulership piece there because Jupiter is looking to Mars in Gemini for its guidance. There is that reception there. So they are working together via aspect and via reception as well. So there is this aspect and reception. So there is that support through possibilities or encouragement. I do see the sextile. A lot of people talk about, the nature of Venus, blah, 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 but I still feel like Venus in of herself, relationships take work. Nice things take work if you want them to last. And so to me, that aspect of a sextile still needs encouragement. It still needs that, needs a little bit of a poke or a prod in order to really activate that weaker and more positive aspect. So it's certainly something that can be taken for granted. So there is still that need to work the sextile. So again, just think about your own birth chart and how the 2 houses of Gemini and Aries tie in together. So you may start to see, I think I've mentioned this already, but you might start to see a little bit more of why or what your Mars retrograde in Gemini story is and how that might be leading you not only towards the multitude of Gemini energy we've got coming, in the next couple of years. We've also had a lot in the last couple as well, but it might help you sort of tie in some of those longer cycles as well as also what's happening in Aries. Because an interesting feature of 2023 is that while Jupiter is in Aries, we're going to be introduced to the first Aries eclipse, which I think is April 20. I could be wrong on that, but it's at the very end of Aries. We have that first kind of crossover eclipse in Aries while the node is still in Taurus. And then by the time we get to July, even though Jupiter's already exited for Taurus, the nodes will then move into Aries and Libra. So in the Aries house of your birth chart, there is this kind of handover, takeover, where Jupiter expands it. There'll be an eclipse there. And then, of course, by the time we get to July, then the North Node takes residence in the Aries house of your birth chart for 18 months. So Jupiter and the North Node are very amplifying factors in astrology. So that part of your life is going to get bigger. And it's ruled by this Mars in Gemini, which is retrograde currently, and forming the sextile and the reception. So again, just sort of inviting you to, not just take Jupiter in Aries in of itself and see it as an individual transit. Okay, what's it ruling? What's it aspecting? And what else is coming in Aries, I think is a really big part of the picture, because Jupiter's place in its cycle right now, it is, it's done it in Pisces, it's done it in Aries, where it's kind of, going back and forward with signs. So there's something to that. Then, of course, when it moves into Taurus in May, it stays in Taurus, as you would expect. But there is that sort of back and forward, yes and no with Pisces. Then it's that hot and cold, on again, off again with Aries, and then boom, there in Taurus. So I am getting a little bit sidetracked, as I said I probably would. But hopefully that may give you a little bit of an idea of what to expect with Jupiter and Aries. There is this individualistic component, rough and rugged, but also conviction and inspired and a do or die. It's really exciting. It's very lively. A lot of creation. Creation needs the inspiration, which we've had with all the Pisces stuff. Now it's time to take action on those inspired ideas, or find that passion, or find that fire, and let it kind of catch on fire, so to speak. So there's a lot to be said about the influence of Aries. I do really like Aries as an energy. So it's fresh. It really welcomes the solstice. I think it's a really big part of the next 6 months that we're moving to. And of course, once we get to the mid-year solstice, Jupiter has done its journey in Aries. So then, till mid-May, it really is just decide and do, go for it. Maybe not caring so much about what others think or believe. If you feel passionate about it, if it really speaks to who you are as an individual, if it really, lights your fire, if it does mean, standing up for what you believe, but standing alone, or at least going alone, you've got that sort of cosmic permission to do that. So I definitely fly the flag of those type of things, which probably leans into my particular excitement for this transit. So if you've enjoyed this video, that's great. But I'll also let you know that I do have a few other events on that you might be curious about as well. So next week, being December 29 and 30, I have a 2-part webinar all on exploring 2023. I'll put a link below where you can get more information about that. And then, of course, the best place to find me on the regular is in the Golden Circle Club. So that is my membership offering, where you get loads of access to myself, to other members, information, really helping you guide your life and navigate the sky and learn more astrology, and put all the pieces of these astrological movements together. So join me in that for 2023 if you like. There's a lot of benefits and offers being inside the circle as well. So let me know in the comments below, are you excited for Jupiter in Aries? Which house does it light up for you, and what are you looking forward to the most until mid-May? All right, everybody, great to connect with you. Happy solstice, happy Yule, Merry Christmas, and all the different holidays. It's a great time of year to celebrate with loved ones. So until next time, which will probably be 2023, have a great new year as well.